Has Uber gone insane? Underage kids can now legally use Uber, and this is just one of 9 updates that will be coming to the app. As a rideshare driver, I'm pretty happy with some of these updates, but there's a couple that really make me question, has Uber gone insane? For example, passengers can now order an Uber without even using the Uber app.
Find that Uber feature you were telling me about, where I can call in for my ride instead of having to use that app thing, and I start talking to my driver, Fernando de Venezuela,
Okay.
and I got carried away.
Thank you so much, Abuelo, for sharing.
That's right. People can now call 1-8333 use Uber in order to get a ride. And I know that it doesn't seem devious at first, but that's because Uber is selling it as a feature that is convenient for the passenger, not the safety of the driver. For longer than I've even been driving, drivers have been asking for passengers to have their IDs attached to their Uber account for added safety. I think that the expansion into the toll-free phone line will bring us further away from requiring passengers to have an ID associated with their account. And I know I'm not overreacting here because drivers die more often than they should because of situations where there's just no safe process for the driver to know who's actually in their car. The next 2 features are really good features that we'll talk about at the same time because they're kind of similar. The first feature is that customers can now create family profiles.
Welcome to the Uber family account!
Family profiles allow you to link multiple Uber accounts together, which makes it easier to pay for orders from the same household. You can also use family profiles to track the location of your family. I can see why someone might disagree with the tracking part of this, but I think it's okay for the person who's paying for all of these activities to be able to track those activities and who is using those activities. That's because the person who is riding on your account can always choose to do activities on their own account instead of your account. And the reason why I'm using the word activities instead of rides is because you can actually also do group grocery orders with not just family members.
Tu ve, Mami, I already knew you were gonna come with the questions. That's why we're doing an Uber Eats group grocery order where we can each order and pay for our food right through the app like the adults that we are.
And this is pretty useful for friends that might live together or if you're in a roommate situation. And I see this as a very rare win for Uber. This will increase their orders. For customers, since this will save them money on delivery fees, and for drivers, because this will have the social effect of pulling more people into the Uber ecosystem, which is only bad if you only drive for Lyft. But I always recommend using both Uber and Lyft because you never know what can happen. I even got falsely accused of locking someone in my car and making sexual advances to them and would have been deactivated if I didn't catch the incident on video. So if you're interested in becoming either a Lyft or Uber driver, you need to be both. Please consider using my affiliate link. It's a great way to support the channel and you even get a bonus if you don't sign up with your boat. Yep, that's the next feature we're gonna talk about. Customers can now rent boats through Uber, which means if you're a driver or owner of a boat, you can now let people use your boat. I would personally never do this, but it's a great way to make money if you already have a boat. I wouldn't recommend going out there and getting one. You know what? Maybe I'll give it a try if I get to 25,000 subscribers and I'm still making Uber and Lyft content. So if you support that idea, make sure you subscribe. We've covered 4 out of the 9 updates so far, but the next 4 updates won't take very long at all. And then we'll focus on how underage riders are now allowed on Uber. Okay, mixed reactions there. Please calm down. Uber announced that they would be partnering with NimbleRx to offer prescription delivery. They are also partnering with OpenTable, which will allow customers to book restaurant reservations through the Uber app, which will make it a very convenient play for those who want to order rides to the restaurant that they've gotten through Uber and then rides back home. I see that being a big win for encouraging people to leave their house. Uber will also be partnering with some app called Viator. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. Those are all pretty cool, but the best partnership of the bunch is Uber's partnership with Nuna. Nuna is a car seat company that makes convertible car seats. This will help prevent drivers from losing money because of irresponsible parents that don't think they should bring a car seat with them when they let a stranger drive their children. It happens all the time. Parents should be better parents, and drivers shouldn't be held financially responsible when they aren't being better parents. So this is a welcome addition, even though it's only available in New York and California right now. This is where it gets a little controversial.
Wait, I thought I wasn't allowed to use Uber until I was 18.
Not anymore. They have accounts for teenagers now.
What it means is that you can get yourself an Uber ride whenever you need it, and I can track you.
I believe that Uber for Teens will be a benefit for drivers, but will still come with some added safety and financial risk. If you disagree, that's fine. Consider this my attempt to make you feel how I feel. But in order for us to come to an understanding, we have to understand how it even works. Uber for Teens is a new program that allows teens ages 13 to 17 to create their own Uber accounts with the permission of a parent or guardian. Teen accounts come with built-in safety features such as Verify My Ride, Ride Check, and audio recording. To create a teen account, a parent or a guardian must first create an Uber account. Once the parent or guardian is created, they can then add their teen as a member of the family, going back to that earlier feature we just talked about. The teen will then receive an invite on their phone, which will allow them to connect to their parent's account. Once the teen account is created, the teen can request rides just like any other Uber user. However, there are just a couple of differences that we gotta cover. First, teen accounts are only allowed to request rides from drivers who have been approved for the Uber for Teens program. That means teens might have to wait a little longer for drivers to get to them compared to a normal Uber account. But that also means that teenage passengers will probably be highly rated people, which we know is important to the driver community, at least the good drivers. Second, teen accounts are subject to certain safety restrictions such as a curfew and a requirement to wear a seatbelt. Your backseat passengers aren't currently required to wear a seatbelt depending on your state law. Not every state carries that law, so don't get mad at me in the comments. Now, I'm not a lawyer, disclaimer, and this is not legal advice, more disclaimers. But my non-degree college dropout self believes that the requirement for them to wear a seatbelt is a way for Uber to remove liability from themselves and maybe the drivers. The only way I would be comfortable with this, no matter what other features are here for Uber for Teens, is if the parents or Uber assume all responsibility if something happens that is beyond the negligence of the driver. So sure, this new feature will likely increase how many riders are on the platform between the ages of 13 and 17 especially, but only if you're okay with being audio recorded in your own ride, which is already a feature parents of the passengers could use. I think it's a great tool for parents, but I know there's drivers who don't like being recorded at all. I personally don't care, so I don't see this as an issue myself, but I know my opinion isn't the only opinion that matters. Here are some of the safety features that are included with Uber for Teens. There's Verify My Ride, which is a feature that allows teens to verify that they are getting into the correct car. It's just like that PIN system that a very small percentage of passengers use because of the girl who went missing when she got into the wrong car. It happened in my state, and it's real. It really happened. It's why passengers sometimes ask you to say their name.
Say my name, Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
Next up, the Ride Check feature monitors the teen's rides for any safety concerns. If Ride Check detects something unusual, like a sudden change in direction, or a long stop like the time the Uber driver took their teenage passenger to a hotel during a snowstorm, the parent or guardian will be notified. I again have no issues with this feature as long as drivers can take their preferred roads to avoid minor traffic, because it happens. And if they don't account for that, there's going to be a lot of parents calling the police on these drivers. Overall, I think Uber safely allowing teens to take Ubers is a big win for everyone except Lyft. Uber drivers can be found complaining on Facebook about having to cancel on students who need rides to and from school. With Uber for Teens, this means less trips where the parent has to accompany their children to school just to turn right back around on a multi-stop trip, saving them money, and it's usually people from low-income areas who need these services, so it will save them money too. And it'll help you make more money since we don't make good pay on rides with multiple stops. But the world is not perfect, and I just know that there will be news surrounding an event where something went wrong during an Uber for Teen ride. Despite that, I think there will be more benefits that come from this than the negatives. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this will make it easier for me to make $100,000 this year. If you want to see how that's going so far, check out my $100,000 3-month update video. I'll see you there. Peace.